Dun, 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 dun.
I think the first trailer for Magnolia Releasing and Magnolia Picture or Magnet Releasing, they got a really long name for a distributor. But I thought the first trailer for Cunningham looked really good. It was a very interesting look, I would say. As somebody who comes from a dance background for about nearly 2 decades, I took a break. I'd be higher right now in years, but I took a break because of COVID. I'm just kind of like, well, and actually now I'm just like, I want to get back into it, but I like my downtime. My schedule's something a little freer than it used to be. But as somebody who comes from a dancing background, this is automatically, you tell me there's a project centered around dance, I'm going to be interested. But also somebody who doesn't know, I love documentaries as well, so that of course plays a part. But as somebody who doesn't know much of the history in terms of specific individuals, I know bits and pieces from different styles, but I don't know some of the more notable figures that are so influential in certain aspects, including like modern dance or contemporary, which Cunningham, the subject of the piece, Merce Cunningham, I'm not familiar, by name, but the first trailer I think gave me a very good introduction to his not only his artistic expression, but perhaps some of the guiding philosophies in his life, which are very interesting. I'd love to learn more. As I said, there's another trailer we can look at maybe to learn more. This is the UK trailer. We're going to watch this first, and we're going to talk about it more in my condensed review segment. While watching the video together, he had some really beautiful arrangements. Obviously, like a lot of a close proximity choreography, maybe for different duet partners or trios, and some very beautiful arrangements for group dances. But notably, I'm guessing he's more so active in the ballet, contemporary, modern space, and I definitely see that heavy influence here. It's very interesting. Again, the first trailer painted a very nice picture. Let's take a look at this new trailer and see if there's anything else we can see here. Here we go. Dog Wolf, I've never heard of that studio. They look like they're in leopard print.
I never was interested in dancing that expressed the music.
I remember those turns. I used to do those, a while ago.
The dancing is what it is. It's that whole visual experience.
I was going to say, everybody's sort of like doing their own little pieces, but it seems that there's some compliments to one another.
Deeply fond of dancing. I prefer to risk. I don't know what will happen.
I like that how you're getting not only a recreation, as I said with the synopsis earlier on, you're getting a recreation of a lot of his dances, but it seems you're also getting some found footage from past performances. It's a nice blend.
My dancers and I don't interpret something, we present something. Any kind of interpretation is left up to the audience.
Very beautiful shapes. And lines, in particular. That was interesting. Great partner work. And beautifully executed, turns. And I like that one, it's sort of like a ground compass. That's what it kind of looks like to me.
Do you consider your work avant-garde?
I never used the word about myself. I don't describe it, I do it.
Like I said, that's quite a philosophy. That looks really good. Now, granted, I'm trying to find the best terms to label certain movements. Like I said, I'm very appreciative for the background that I have had for the many years I was taking part. Again, I was with multiple studios. One in particular I was with for probably, actually I think I was there for over a decade, probably about 11 years, and I absolutely loved them. But for me, I'm just kind of like, I look back on my dance history, and it was so fun. I had so many different styles. I had so many different, great, and I'll tell you, there's a real social vibe to it as well. The groups that I was with, it was sort of like, especially in the latter years of the place I've been with the longest, me and my dance mates, I'll call them, we kind of developed like a brother-sister relationship because we not only had we been dancing together for so many years, but it was just kind of like being in that type of partnership space where you're learning to interact with one another and you're trying to create art and pick and just really beautiful illustrations. For intrinsic and different styles of movement, it was just something that it requires a huge commitment with partnership, and you get to really see, you get to work together with people very well. It's a great social outlet for people to be in. I mean, I dance has been like quite an escape for me in many ways, and it's one that's been very enjoyable. So if you're looking to get your kids into dance, there's many schools, I mean, around the U.S., depending on what state you're in, and really in many different cities. It's a great outlet for creativity. So if you need something for your kids to do, or you want to do something yourself in terms of like kind of escape reality, you might not be the most skilled dancer, but hey, it's an art form and you can certainly enjoy it. Maybe even Zumba. I've heard really good things about Zumba. I don't know. I know it's very different. Water Zumba sounded interesting. I never did that. But, you know, when I watched this trailer, one thing I noticed is that, I noticed this with one of the schools I was with years later. I don't have as much as I don't know dance history in terms of the individuals that well, I would prefer to know more about, in particular, like dance techniques and really like technical terms of some of the more intrinsic movements. I had the experience, and this isn't a diss at all, it's not intended to be in any way, but for me, the experience that I got mostly from my childhood was more so enjoying the love of dance. But for me, you know, when I in some of the later years, I went to this one school that was really like, they did competitions, they were, the people involved there have been, you know, to dance in college and whatnot, so I got this huge technical understanding that I never had before. And so for me, it was kind of like, I was learning the bits and pieces, but it was challenging for me in that I didn't have the fundamentals, obviously, as many of these kids would in this particular school, those weren't as tied to the class, because it was more so like, hey, it was the artistic side, and that was more so put forward. We're gonna focus on like the enjoyment of dance in terms of, and more so kind of like a free-spirited type of arrangement. Like I said, I want to make that very clear. It's not intended to be a diss or a slam at all, based on my past experiences with different schools and whatnot. I absolutely love the schools I've had the privilege to be with, just for over many years. But for me, it was kind of like, it was a shift when I changed schools, and that was mostly like location. And it was location and just, age-based. But for me, it was kind of like, when I made that shift, it was interesting to be confronted with that reality. Like, I really, I don't have this grounded understanding of like a lot of the technical stuff with dance that perhaps many of today's young dancers are getting through maybe the specific place that they are, or maybe with individuals that bring in maybe guest choreographers and different opportunities. I mean, it was just something that was really interesting to me. But I would love the opportunity to learn more and to get a better understanding in terms of the nitty gritty of dance. And just some of the more technical stuff to it. And I will say with this particular project, it seems you can see that in action, because obviously I'm sure that Merce Cunningham is a very celebrated and lauded choreographer. I can certainly see, I was going to say choreographer, I was going to say maybe use a different term to use, and I think that's the one. But you can see some of the techniques employed, like, as I said, a great use of shape and space as well. And the partnership choreography, it's so well and fine-tuned, I think. In one part, like, there was a turn exchange, I think it was right here, with these two, you got the guy in the red and the girl in the yellow. It kind of like, it did look a bit repetitive on her part, where it's kind of like, one lift, turn. I mean, it was just kind of like, okay, you just did that, but hey, it looked very well executed. This guy in particular, when they say, or when you have the Hollywood Reporter's rating coming up, you see the guy do this like low turn on the grass. It was sort of like with a compass extension. It looks really nice. Beautiful execution, very nice presentation, very, I would say, high level and high quality art. That's what I see here, namely of Cunningham's artistic style. But again, as I said, this is a huge learning opportunity for me. It's a nice blend of a documentary with information on dance history through one particular individual, as well as maybe presenting some of the more, well, I don't know, hearing some of the nuances in terms of the philosophies he had of dance, and perhaps learning some technical stuff along the way. I mean, maybe that's more so what you get like for like a dance specific program in terms of like maybe when you're practicing the movements out, sort of like those like dance tapes they used to have, or exercise tapes from years back. But maybe there's some stuff to learn here on that side. But in particular, this is focusing on the particular choreographer that's notable in dance history and obviously familiar to many. And I think it was beautifully executed from Magnolia Pictures and Magnet Release. I'm probably gonna get their name wrong, but it's a long name. But they have a very promising project, so I definitely remember them for that. They've had many projects over the years I've really enjoyed looking at. What do you guys think about Cunningham? Let me know down below. Don't forget to stuff for like, subscribe, to share, anything that bell. Until we get to look at more dance projects, I hope we get to in the future. I always love looking at dance-related stuff. I'll see you guys at where point that happens to be. But for now, thanks for watching this video. I love you guys. Don't forget to your fellow man. God bless. Peace.